May give me wisdom to do that which is right. And not just what is right, Honorable Speaker, but also what is just. Just to the outgoing Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, but also just, more importantly, just to the people of Kenya who turned out in their numbers in 2022 to vote in a government that they believed would create cohesion and unity and offer them opportunities to excel and prosper as a people. Honorable Speaker, as I prayed for wisdom, I was also conscious that what is right is not always easy. And what is right is not always popular. And being a son of the mountain, representing people of the Mount Kenya region, Honorable Speaker, it was clear to me that what may be popular today may not be right. And that is why I asked God to give me the wisdom to do that what is right, Honorable Speaker. And I am here today to do what is right for the people of Kenya. I am here to do what is right, not just for the people of Mount Kenya. I am here to do what is right for the greater good of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Speaker. And that is why I rise to support this impeachment motion, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, having listened to Honorable Mutuse and all the grounds, and having looked at the Constitution, Honorable Speaker, and I would beg for us to look at Article 150 on the removal of our Deputy President, the reasons as to why you may remove a Deputy President from office. The first one is on the ground of physical or mental incapacity to perform the functions of that office. We have no capacity to determine the physical and mental capacity of the Deputy President, Gachagua. But on impeachment as a second ground, the first ground is on the ground of a gross violation of a provision of this Constitution or any other law. The question that begs is whether one Rigathi Geoffrey Gachagua has contravened or has grossly violated one provision of our Constitution. And I think the Honorable Ekomas Mutuse was able to demonstrate this morning that Rigathi Gachagua has violated not one, but over 8 provisions of our Constitution, which I agree with the Honorable Mutuse. And for that reason, Rigathi Gachagua ought and must be impeached today. The second ground, Honorable Speaker, is where there are serious reasons. And Senior Counsel Otiende Amolo went to great length this morning to explain what serious, when you believe there are serious reasons that the Deputy President has committed a crime under national or international law. Honorable Speaker, behind the veneer of humility that you have seen here this evening, behind the veneer of humility that Kenyans saw on national TVs on Sunday, pretending to apologize, is a dark face of violence. Is a dark face, Honorable Speaker, that is a great danger to our nationhood, a great danger to the unity of our republic, Honorable Speaker, a danger to the cohesive existence of our nation as we see it today, Honorable Speaker. On the first ground, Honorable Speaker, on the remark of Serikali ni kampuni, it pains me, Honorable Speaker, as I say, not just as leader of majority, but as a member of parliament of Kikuyu constituency, and also as a son of the mountain, where I come from. That, Honorable Speaker, today, the community I come from is being depicted as a community that is entitled and privileged. We are a community, Honorable Speaker, that has love for other Kenyans and other communities in our republic. We are a community that is known for our hard work and resilience, not for entitlement. We are a community that is peace-loving and that believes in the unity of one indivisible nation and Republic of Kenya. Rigathi Gachagua does not believe in an indivisible country. He believes in parochial, selfish, regional, and sectarian interests. And for that reason, Honorable Speaker, we ought and we should impeach the Honorable Rigathi Gachagua. Honorable Speaker, we need to ask ourselves as Honorable Members of Parliament, who took an oath of office, Honorable Speaker, and we swore in the name of the Almighty God that we would obey, respect, uphold, protect, and defend this Constitution. And today, Honorable Speaker, what we are being asked to do is to recall those words of the oath of office that we all took either with the Bible or with the Holy Quran in our right hands, Honorable Speaker, that for a man who has grossly violated our Constitution, whether we will stand up today to be counted as protecting and defending this Constitution by sending home one Rigathi Gachagua, Honorable Speaker. I want to say I rise to the occasion today to do what is right and to reaffirm that oath that I took with the Bible in my right hand, to obey, to defend, and to protect this Constitution that we all swore to defend. And I call upon all of you, honorable members, to defend this Constitution. Honorable members, for Kenyans around the country who watched in disbelief as the Honorable Rigathi Gachagua went to great length, and the Honorable Otiende Amolo told us this morning, if you have to spend 2 hours on national TV to defend corruption and tell the world how you are not corrupt, you are definitely corrupt. Honorable Speaker, the Deputy President with his legal team submitted their defense late at 4 p.m. this afternoon, imagining that we will not have the time to go through this voluminous document. If you go through what Rigathi Gachagua was telling you here, on Olive Garden Hotel, he claims that this hotel was sold by executors to a third party. Honorable Speaker, if you peruse through the documents, the third party that is said to have bought this hotel, Honorable Speaker, and allow me, Honorable Speaker, first to tell you that the joint executors of the will of the late Governor Nderitu Gachagua were Rigathi Gachagua, Advocate Njoroge Regeru, and one Mr. Mwai, who was said to have been his great friend, Mwai Madhenge. And Honorable Speaker, if you read the report filed in court by the joint will executors, filed on the 27th of June this year, it says in the report that the joint will executors will make decisions independently of the beneficiaries and without influence from any beneficiary, except for one who is both a beneficiary and an executor. The joint will executors does not have the same attributes and mandates as for trustees, where beneficiaries would play a part assisting in decision-making. What this is saying, Honorable Speaker, a document filed in court, is that Rigathi Gachagua, as a joint will executor, was also a beneficiary of the estate of his late brother. He was not only a joint will executor, he was also a beneficiary, and he was also a purchaser for value of the estate of his late brother. Olive Gardens is said to have been sold to one gentleman that many of us know, the Honorable Gishimu Githinji, the member for Gishugu, will tell you that the gentleman who is listed here as a purchaser for value for Olive Gardens One Peterson Jomo Mushira was a candidate in Gishugu constituency. He is a direct proxy of one Rigathi Geoffrey Gachagua. And Honorable Speaker, I must confess, and I am sorry to my friend Peterson because I know him. I just called him this afternoon when I saw this document. And I asked him whether TM Civil Engineering Limited is his company, and he confirmed to me it is indeed his company. I therefore want to tell you Olive Gardens was purchased through the proxy of Peterson Jomo Mushira with 0 shares and TM Civil Engineering Limited with 6,000 shares. Those who have visited the Annex House, the office of the Deputy President, know this Jomo is a permanent fixture in the office of the Deputy President, and therefore his direct proxy. Honorable Speaker, we are also told, Honorable Speaker, that these very hardworking young Kenyans, in the names of Keith Ikino Rigathi and Kevin Gachagua Rigathi, who are listed on the CR12 of the documents that were tabled this afternoon by Rigathi, are shareholders of Vipingo Beach Resort that owns the Vipingo property in Kilifi County, the one the Honorable Chonga was speaking about. Rigathi Gachagua told Kenyans on national TV that this property is still owned by the family and therefore is still part of the estate. Keith Ikino and Kevin Gachagua, his sons, were not joint will executors of the estate of Nderitu Gachagua. And the owners who are listed on this CR12 is Keith Ikino Rigathi, Kevin Gachagua Rigathi, and the estate of the deceased James Nderitu Gachagua. It is a rather ingenious way of trying to hide behind the estate of his late brother. And how shameful, Honorable Speaker, that the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya would hide behind the veil of the estate of his late brother to disguise what is outright proceeds of crime, because he is a purchaser of this property, and that is why his 2 sons are listed as directors and shareholders of Vipingo Ridge, of Vipingo Beach Resort. But he was on national TV telling Kenyans, this is a property that belongs to the family, and we have decided to keep it. This is a House of Records, Honorable Speaker, and it is good we gave the Honorable Rigathi Gachagua an opportunity to be heard so that we can expose his lies in broad daylight or this early in the evening. And I want to tell Kenyans and all of you members, save this country from this dark face, Honorable Speaker, honorable members. Save this country, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, because of time, I know there was alluding, Honorable Speaker, if you look at the time this company, Vipingo Beach Resort, was formed, it was founded on 5th August 2008. I would guess if Keith Gachagua is 31 years old today, at the time this company was registered, he was only 15 years old or 14 years old. He cannot have been listed as a director. His younger brother must have been 12 or 13. For heaven's sake, Deputy President, give some credit. Honorable Speaker, we also had the issue of shareholding, Honorable Speaker. And we were told that in our coalition agreement, Honorable Speaker, and you are then the leader of Ford Kenya, and you know you never subscribed to shareholding in our coalition agreements within Kenya Kwanza. Anybody who subscribed to the Kenya Kwanza coalition was subscribing not to shares, but to an ideology, a shared ideology, not shareholding, as Rigathi Gachagua wants Kenyans to believe. Honorable Speaker, let me finish by saying, Honorable Speaker, that the mountain is intact. The mountain is intact. The mountain is intact. The mountain is intact. The mountain is named after Kenya because it belongs to all the people of Kenya. We must end ethnic balkanization.
Give him another 2-3 minutes.
Honorable Speaker, I was saying to conclude, to end the balkanization of our country into ethnic fiefdoms under the control of warlords, we must send Rigathi Gachagua home today. To end divisive politics in our country, Rigathi must. To end the culture of impunity, conflict of interest, abuse of office, state capture, and corruption in high office, Rigathi must. For accountability, for there to be integrity in the political governance of our country, Rigathi Gachagua must. For leaders in high office to bear policy and political responsibility, Rigathi Gachagua must. For national unity, for the fight against graft to bear fruit, for peace and prosperity of our nation as one indivisible whole, one nation under one flag, one people who love their country, who love peace, who want to see a cohesive and working government serving them. Rigathi must? Rigathi must? I submit Rigathi must go.
Thank you. Order. Honorable members, order. The honorable mover has donated his time as follows. Charles Nguna, CNN, you'll start with 2 minutes. Omboko Milemba will follow with 3 minutes. Peter Kaluma will follow with 10 minutes, and then he himself 15 minutes. So, CNN, Charles Nguna.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me thank the Kenyans who just expressed their views during public participation on this matter, Mr. Speaker. And to add this, I keenly followed and listened to the Deputy President yesterday, His Excellency. And Mr. Speaker, based on all what is said, we saw a lot of differences, rift, contradictions, divisions, which are totally eminent we are going to have in future, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it is inevitable that we are going to have battleground between His Excellency the DP and His Excellency the President. And when the bulls fight, Mr. Speaker, grass suffers, Mr. Speaker. And it's that's why I'm saying that if we continue keeping one of them in the office, Mr. Speaker, Kenyans are going to suffer most, Mr. Speaker. And based on my wisdom, for prosperity and also for development, for what we call prosperity and patriotism, and for us to live in an amicable manner and peaceful manner, Mr. Speaker, we have to separate the two bulls, Mr. Speaker. And the motion today, it is for Rigathi to go, not for William Samoei Ruto. With those few remarks, Mr. Speaker, I support.
Omboko Milemba.
Honorable Speaker, there's a question which makes me stand to speak on. And I want Kenyans and possibly the members who can listen to me to realize that one issue that has not been answered consistently is the question of chairs. Yesterday I listened to the Deputy President and today also. Whenever he's asked about chairs, Honorable
Members, can we reduce our levels of conversation?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Whenever he's asked about the issue of chairs, he picks ANC party agreement and Ford Kenya party agreement. And instead of answering that question, he hides in it. Finally, Honorable Speaker, I'm now holding the reply by Honorable Gachagua, and on page 333, the agreement is annexed. And I want to demonstrate to this parliament that what you have been told was wrong, because that agreement does not talk about just power sharing for a region. He has avoided intentionally to read the entire paragraph, which says that the sharing of the political parties will also depending further on the need to achieve an inclusive government that reflects the face of Kenya, including the need to accommodate the representation of any future member party and all regions of Kenya. He avoided to read that and therefore gives an impression that there was a power sharing agreement which only confined ANC party to Western only, when ANC party is a national party. Look at this, Honorable Speaker. The only member of the ANC party we nominated was Honorable Dena Hamisi, who comes from Kwale and not Western. So this is an issue which has not been tackled. Two, he is unable to deal with Senior Counsel Tienda Molo's assertion in the morning that how would you elevate the agreements of a political party beyond the Constitution of Kenya? It's very important that as you make your decision, you get that this was a false lie. Finally, Honorable Speaker, in all this we have seen all the techniques of card stacking, of propaganda, which include card stacking, emotional appeal, branding, and that's why we have seen the name of the president being dragged in this matter today. I think the motion on the floor is for the makanga, it's not for the driver. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I support.
I have been advised by the mover that Lillian Kogo will take 2 minutes and Kaluma 8 minutes instead of 10. Lillian Kogo.
I thank you so much, Honorable Speaker, and I want to thank all the members who have contributed to this motion. I rise to support. I had not given my voice to it, but Honorable Speaker, as you were speaking earlier, Honorable Speaker, I believe the Honorable Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya was following the proceedings of this House. And one of the matters, Honorable Speaker, that came out so clearly, Honorable Speaker, was the insult on women, Honorable Speaker. Women form a substantive position in this country's national development, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, I expected that when the Deputy President came to this House, he was going to address this matter on a special way, Honorable Speaker. But I did not listen. I did not hear him. I did not hear the Deputy Speaker say when, where, how. The Deputy President, sorry. I did not hear the Deputy President, one Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, answer to the question of saying that one noble member of this House, the Honorable Jematia, is a Malaya, Honorable Speaker. It concerns me, and I wanted the Honorable Rigathi Gachagua to tell this House where, how, when, who witnessed him sleep with one Jematia and how he felt. We wanted to know, because we are not going to allow women to be used with derogatory language moving forward, Honorable Speaker. It is nobody's choice to be a Malaya. These are mothers. It is nobody's choice to be a Malaya. These are our sisters. It is not...
Time up. Peter Kaluma. Peter Kaluma. Peter Kaluma. Honorable members,
I thank you. Yeah, Honorable Speaker, I thank you in a very special way. Honorable Speaker, I have this benefit of speaking after listening both to the mover of the motion and to the Deputy President, who is the subject matter of this motion. And so, Honorable Speaker, I can look at it from all perspectives. Honorable Speaker, allow me to start by saying that I listened to the Deputy President, as I did to Honorable Mutuse, with the mind of a lawyer, looking at how the grounds have been addressed, their particulars, and how they have been addressed by the two respective parties. And Honorable Speaker, let me begin by saying that I don't know what happened, but we had Honorable Mutuse presented before this assembly a motion seeking to impeach the Deputy President on up to 11 grounds. And Honorable Speaker, I don't know whether it is by act of omission or commission, or it is just the nature of some people. The Deputy President focused on those matters concerning property, money, integrity, procurement, forgetting the most fundamental issues. And I want to say that even when he addressed those money issues, there are very patent gaps going to constitutional violations which are stated in the motion to be gross. I expected the Deputy President, for instance, to use the opportunity you accorded him, Honorable Speaker, to explain that SMS which came from his son Ikunu Gachagua on the bid bond issue involving that company. No mention of that at all. Honorable Speaker, before I go to the matters I want to address in substance, let me thank you, the Honorable Speaker of the National Assembly, for ensuring that the process this House is going through has been very fair. And in doing so, Honorable Speaker, for according and upholding and protecting the provisions of Article 47 of the Constitution. I hear people still saying that the courts will intervene. But I'm thanking you for this, Honorable Speaker, because the only time the courts intervene is if we have not secured a party procedural fairness. This motion was advertised across the country for the participation of Kenyans. And Honorable Speaker, allow me to reiterate this short data in 1 minute. 146,429 Kenyans said that the Deputy President should be impeached. And that, Honorable Speaker, constitutes 65.11% of the people of Kenyans. 76,026 of Kenyans said the Deputy President should not be impeached, coming to 33.8% of those Kenyans. Honorable Speaker, 2,452 Kenyans said Kufa Makanga, Kufa Dereva, and those other things. And there are the others. And Honorable Speaker, in terms of our constituency, which is Homa Bay Town constituency, 1,080 Kenyans whom I represent said the Deputy President should be impeached. And Honorable Speaker, that constitutes 89.81% of the population of the people of Homa Bay who are duly notified. 54 Kenyans in Homa Bay Town constituency, constituting 5%, said the Deputy President should not be impeached. And then 56, which is another percentage there, said other things, including Kufa driver, Kufa Makanga. Honorable Speaker, let me clarify this other issue also. That the courts have persistently and consistently said that public participation must be meaningful. If public participation should be meaningful, And Honorable Speaker, you made it so open at the county headquarters involving all constituencies, and then all constituency offices remained open on that day, and you notified it to the public, Honorable Speaker, following that order of court. Then really, there is nothing much for us to continue debating here. If public participation is to be meaningful, then the Kenyans have spoken. And as their representatives, we can only give meaning to what they say during public participation by securing what they have said, which is that the deputy president should be impeached. Honorable Speaker, because I'm running fast, let me say that this constitution has been termed a living document. And Honorable Speaker, if you look at ground one, people take it lightly. But Honorable Speaker, the idea of the unity of our nation has been the one thing which has been disturbing the people of Kenya in terms of being a nation for very long. Honorable Speaker, allow me to read the preamble of the Constitution. And this is what it says. We, the people of Kenya, proud of our ethnic, cultural, and religious diversity, and determined to live in peace and unity as one indivisible, sovereign nation. When the Kenyans were making this constitution, they identified the need for unity as one people, as one thing they had to deal with. Honorable Speaker, I request the members to look at Article 4, Sub-Article 2 of the Constitution. It says Kenya is a multi-party democratic state founded on the national values and principles of governance under Article 10 of the Constitution. And Honorable Speaker, people have said so many things about this Constitution. But let me say today, before this House, Honorable Speaker, that Article 10 of the Constitution, if this spirit has a soul, if this Constitution has a spirit, then you can only find it in Article 10 of the Constitution. At Article 10, Sub-Article 2, those national values which were identified by the people of Kenya during constitution making as the things which Kenya needs to address are the following, Honorable Speaker. Patriotism, national unity, sharing and devolution of power, the rule of law, democracy and participation of the people, human dignity, equity, social justice, inclusiveness, equality, human rights, non-discrimination, and protection of the marginalized. Honorable Speaker, at the very heart of a nation is equal ownership and equal sharing in the resources of the nation. It cannot be therefore, Honorable Speaker, that a state officer at the level of the deputy president is singing to other Kenyans how they are shareholders and they don't belong to this country. And Honorable Speaker, it saddens me that having given him the opportunity, the deputy president did not proffer defense, the deputy president did not offer an apology, but the deputy president said other people are also doing it. Honorable Speaker, let me say an impeachment motion proceeds in personam. It proceeds against a specific person. You may say Kufa Dereva, Kufa Makanga.
Give him 1 minute to wind up. Wind up, Kaluma.
Thank you. Honorable Speaker, it does not matter. This motion we have is against a person. You cannot have a motion for impeachment against Kaluma and somebody. Those who are saying Kufa driver, Kufa Makamba, bring the driver and we will also consider it on the merit. And on account of that, Honorable Speaker, this person must go. Honorable Speaker, in the few seconds remaining, let me say that when Westgate came under attack, I lost a cousin in the name of Jackton Port. He was the first one to be shot there. When Garissa University came under attack, Honorable Speaker, I lost Solomon Oludo from Marindi, a son of our land I educated at Ubiero Primary School. Honorable Speaker, we have no problem holding the security apparatus of the nation, to account. But Honorable Speaker, we cannot have a situation where you talk that recklessly in public about our national intelligence service being dysfunctional. For a state which is permanently under terror, target, and attack. And by the way, in the Security Committee, each minute, we are fighting terrorists. You cannot speak that way and come back and say it is normal. Honorable Speaker, how can you be a principal assistant to the president when each time the president leaves the country, you are organizing rallies to incite ethnic animosity against your own government. Honorable Speaker, how can you be a principal assistant to His Excellency the President when the President is having a press conference in Nairobi and you are having a separate one instead of standing with him to calm the nation from Mombasa to say that the President, in fact, there is a problem and is a dysfunction in government?
Time up. Mutuse? You have 15 minutes.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Before I begin my reply to the motion, please allow me to table additional documents, being a newspaper advert that was placed by His Excellency the Deputy President in today's newspapers, and also the video recording of his speech yesterday, because they are material to these proceedings.
Go ahead. Request granted.
Mr. Speaker, I have tabled the two documents, electronic and physical, because during the course of this debate, members in many instances had referred to them, and therefore it is only fair that they are part of the record. Number two, Mr. Speaker, allow me to thank...
The documents were available to me earlier, and I ruled that they are admitted.
Thank you, Mr.
Proceed.
Speaker.
Yes.
I want to be very brief because I know the National Assembly of the Republic of Kenya wants to make a decision on the matter of impeachment of His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua. Mr. Speaker, to begin with is to thank colleague members of Parliament from both sides of the House for the robust debate in terms of the motion that we presented before the House this morning. Mr. Speaker, I also want to thank Kenyans in their millions from all over the Republic, because in the course of this debate, Kenyans have been commending, Kenyans have been exercising their democratic right through public participation, through their right to odd opinions, and we have not witnessed a single incident of violence anywhere in the Republic. There had been vitisho that if you table an impeachment motion for a person of the magnitude of the Deputy President, there may be violence, people will lose lives, but I thank Kenyans because Kenyans have proven once again that we are a peaceful country and we are able to engage in our democratic processes without violence. Mr. Speaker, allow me to re-examine some of the few issues that have come through the response. First is to let Kenyans know that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has filed a response of 501 pages, and the response has come at 4 p.m., and I was only able to be given the response about an hour ago. And therefore, in terms of the doctrine of equality of arms, I feel that I needed adequate time so that I may be able, during my reply, to respond to some of the things that he has raised in his response. However, be that as it may, I want to refer members to page 99 of his response. In the morning, I did tell members that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has acquired properties through corruption and through money laundering. And when he has come before this House, he has told you that the hotel that he acquired in Nyeri was acquired through a loan. However, the only document exhibited as evidence of that loan is a letter of offer from Credit Bank Limited. There is no evidence exhibited by Mr. Rigathi Gachagua, the current Deputy President, to the effect that the loan was actually finalized, to the effect that he actually got the loan. Mr. Speaker, as a term of the letter of offer, in terms of lien and set-off, and I read, a lien and set-off of a fixed deposits of LN Crystal Kenya Limited for an aggregate amount of 300 million Kenya shillings interest accrued shall be credited to your deposit settlement account. Mr. Speaker, in simple terms, what this means is that Mr. Rigathi Gachagua had a fixed amount in cash of 300 million in his account, which was going to be used as a security. I asked Mr. Rigathi Gachagua to tell us where he had gotten this 300 million if my allegations that he's laundering money are not true. And therefore, by virtue of his response, it confirms my assertions that he has monies, he has wealth, he has cash that is suspect. If you may give me my phone. In terms of whether Kenya is a company or not.
Do you want information from member
Yes,
for West Mugirango?
yes, you may.
Go ahead.
Mr. Speaker, I want to inform the Honorable Mutuse that the director for Credit Bank Kenya Limited is one Grace Nyachai, who hails from Nyeri and is a relative of His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, and therefore I say no more.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it is important for this House to note that in the morning, I did present evidence of suspicious money transactions. I did present evidence that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, either by himself or through relatives or through proxies, has acquired properties that are way beyond his known sources of income, and that evidence remains uncontroverted. Turning, Mr. Speaker, to the issue of whether Kenya is a company owned by shareholders. Mr. Rigathi Gachagua is playing with the intelligence of members of parliament and with the intelligence of Kenyans by attempting to twist facts. First, in terms of the law, companies are registered under the Companies Act. They are not registered under the Political Parties Act. So to come before Kenyans and to say that there were coalition agreements registered and therefore those coalition agreements are companies is to play around with our intelligence, because we know companies are registered under the Companies Act, they are not registered under the Political Parties Act. Further, Mr. Speaker, this Rigathi Gachagua was selectively chosen the sections of the Kenya Kwanza's coalition agreement to rely on, and he has failed to read the document in whole. Under clause 20 of the Kenya Kwanza coalition agreement, that clause provides as follows: that there is need to achieve an inclusive government that reflects the face of Kenya. Rigathi Gachagua chose not to tell us that the coalition agreement also talked about the face of Kenya and not a company of some people to the exclusion of others. Clause 6 of the Kenya Kwanza coalition agreement provides for respect for constitutionalism. The articles of the Constitution that I stated. It provides for respect to the rule of law. It provides for respect to the national values and principles of government under Article 10. And it provides for respect to devolution. Mr. Rigathi Gachagua did not tell us that. Clause 22G of the coalition agreement among the Kenya Kwanza political parties provides that there will be adjustments that may be necessary to accommodate the development priorities of other parts of the country to ensure equitable distribution of Kenya's national resources and wealth for the benefit of every citizen and every part of Kenya. This Mr. Rigathi Gachagua could not tell you because it was going to destroy his case. And therefore, honorable members, I urge you to find that Mr. Rigathi Gachagua, in his assertions about shareholding and a company, it was not in reference to political parties, it was in reference to regions, it was in reference to communities, and the evidence that we provided remains uncontroverted, and this ground must be confirmed. Mr. Speaker, on the issue of KEMSA, again, to show a man who is a flip-flop, yesterday on live television, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua admitted that he personally called Dr. Andrew Mulwa by his own phone yesterday on television. Today, appearing before us, he denies that he did not call him. So, which part of his testimony do we believe? Do we believe the testimony that he gave yesterday on national television, that he did call Dr. Andrew Mulwa, and that he sent his own son to Dr. Andrew Mulwa to collect the bid bond? Or do we believe the testimony that he has brought today, altered testimony that he has brought today? I urge you to find that Mr. Rigathi Gachagua indeed did call to influence investigations. On the issue of cabinet, Mr. Speaker, if you may allow me just 1 minute. On the issue of cabinet resolution, he has admitted and proceeded to justify that despite the existence of a valid cabinet decision in a cabinet meeting that he sat, he chose to defy that cabinet decision. And for that reason, Mr. Gachagua, by his own admission, must be removed from government. Mr. Speaker, as I conclude, this is the National Assembly of the Republic of Kenya. And for the National Assembly of the Republic of Kenya to assert its constitutional authority, Mr. Rigathi Gachagua must be impeached today. I urge members. Mr. Rigathi Gachagua, we have heard from members here, has made inflammatory remarks against the women of the Republic. For the respect of the women of the Republic of Kenya, Mr. Rigathi Gachagua must be impeached today. We have heard that Mr. Rigathi Gachagua has disinherited the widows of his own brother. And for the widows of Kenya, beginning from Madeira, to be safe, Mr. Rigathi Gachagua must be impeached today. And therefore, I urge members to find favor with my motion from clause 1 to clause 11. And as you vote to impeach Mr. Rigathi Gachagua. I thank you, Mr. Speaker,
I beg to move.
and I beg to move.
Thank you. Honorable members on their feet, take your seats. Take your seats. Take your seats. Brighton, take your seats. Today you are very mobile. Honorable members, order. Honorable members, Honorable Jeho, take your seat. Honorable members, we are coming to the end of this motion. And before I put the question, this is one motion where there is no voice vote. We'll go straight into division, so that no ayes have it at the putting of the question. The House Business Committee yesterday deliberated on the manner of voting, and it was unanimously agreed that there will be a roll call vote. There will be a roll call vote. That being the case, we should be done, if we are orderly, we should be done in the next 30 minutes to 40 minutes, maximum 1 hour. When we start voting, order. When we start voting, I'll instruct the clerk and the teller, having conducted yourselves exemplarily well, any member who precedes his or her vote with a preamble or a speech or a statement will be a spoiled vote. Once you are called, order. The vote is simply yes or no. Time for speeches have extinguished in the debate. I now put the question. Of course, there are always three: yes, no, abstention. Order, member for West Mugirango. There's nothing out of order. Honorable members, I now put the question, which is that, pursuant to the provisions of Articles 145 and 151B and 2 of the Constitution and Standing Order 64 and 65, this House resolves to remove from office by impeachment His Excellency Honorable Gachagua, EGH, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya on the following grounds. 1. Gross violation of Articles 10(2)A and B and C, 27(4), 73(1)A, 2 and B, 75(1)C, 129(2) of the Constitution, and Article 147(1) as read together with Article 131(2)C and D of the Constitution. 2. Gross violation of Articles 147(1) and 152(1) of the Constitution by undermining the President and the Cabinet and the effective discharge of the national government executive mandate. 3. Gross violation of Articles 6(2), 10(2)A, 174, 186(1), 189(1), and the fourth schedule to the Constitution by undermining devolution. 4. Gross violation of Article 161 of the Constitution on the institutional and decisional independence of judges. 5. Gross violation of Articles 3(1) and 148(5)A of the Constitution on the fidelity to the oath of office and allegiance. 6. Serious reasons to believe that His Excellency the Deputy President has committed crimes under Sections 13(1)A and 62 of the National Cohesion and Integration Act. 7. Serious reasons to believe that His Excellency the Deputy President has committed gross economic crimes under Sections 45(1), 46, 47(a)(3), and 48(1) of the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act and Sections 2, 3, 4, and 7 of the Proceeds of Crime and Anti-Money Laundering Act. 8. Serious reasons to believe that His Excellency the Deputy President has committed crimes by continuously misleading members of the public through false, malicious, divisive, and insightful remarks that are contrary to the provisions of Section 132 of the Penal Code and Section 29 of the Leadership and Integrity Act. 9. Gross misconduct that is incompatible with the high calling and dignified status of the office of the Deputy President, a member of the Cabinet and the National Security Council. His Excellency the Deputy President has publicly attacked and undermined the work of the National Intelligence Service and its officers. 10. Gross misconduct by openly or publicly insubordinating the President, who is the head of state and government. And 11. Gross misconduct by persistently bullying state and public officers. I now direct that the division bell be rung for 5 minutes. Then thereafter, we will go into voting process. As we do so, can the whips give us, yes, Jeanette?
Mr. Speaker, I propose that only the whips should be allowed to go out of the chambers, Mr. Speaker. The rest should remain seated. Yeah. Only the whips should be allowed to go out, Mr. Speaker. The rest of the members can sit and hold their things on the. That's the rule. That's the...
Good evening. If you're just tuning in, the National Assembly has been debating the special motion by the Honorable Member Mwengi Mutuse on the proposed removal by impeachment of His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. The Honorable Member in the special motion did advance 11 accusations against the Deputy President, and among them his gross violation of Articles 10, Subarticle 2A, B, and C, Article 27, Subarticle 4, Article 73, Subarticle 1A, Article 2B, Article 75, 1C, Article 129, Subarticle 2 of the Constitution, and Article 147, Subarticle 1, as read together with Article 131, Subarticle 2C and D of the Constitution, that the Deputy President has persistently made utterances threatening to discriminate, exclude, and deny sections of the people of Kenya and regions of the Republic of Kenya equal opportunities for public service appointments and allocation of public resources. Another charge is that the Deputy President has made unilateral public statements inconsistent with policy positions collectively adopted by the government and contradicted the President on critical matters of governance and the exercise of the President's functions as a symbol of national unity. That His Excellency, the Deputy President, interfered with the running of Nairobi City County Government by inciting citizens against lawful directives of the county government on the planning and relocation of markets, and publicly disparaging the leadership of the county government and its decisions. Charge 4, that His Excellency the Deputy President has undermined the institutional and decisional independence of a judge through public attacks on a judge of the High Court of Kenya and falsely threatening to file a petition for the removal of the said judge in a matter in which he was a party. Another charge is that the Deputy President breached his oath of office and allegiance on account of the utterances and actions attributed to the Deputy President under grounds 1, 2, and 3. Charge 6, that the Deputy President has persistently made inflammatory, reckless, insightful public utterances over the last 2 years in contravention of the law. Charge 7, that His Excellency the Deputy President has committed gross economic crimes, namely conflict of interest, abuse of office, and conspiracy to commit crimes under sections by inexplicably amassing property estimated at 5.2 billion shillings that is incompatible with his non-legitimate income, and by trading with the office of the Deputy President through proxies. Another charge is serious reasons to believe that His Excellency the Deputy President has committed crimes by continuously misleading members of the public through false, malicious, divisive, and insightful remarks that are contrary to the provisions of Section 132 of the Penal Code and Section 29 of the Leadership and Integrity Act. Charge 9, gross misconduct that is incompatible with the high calling and dignified status of the office of the Deputy President, a member of the Cabinet and the National Security Council. His Excellency the Deputy President has publicly attacked and undermined the work of the National Intelligence Service and its officers. Charge 10, gross misconduct by openly or publicly insubordinating the President, who is the head of state and government, and Charge 11, gross misconduct by persistently bullying state and public officers. The Deputy President was some minutes after 5 p.m. given the opportunity by the National Assembly to defend himself against these 11 allegations that have been leveled in this special motion which the members of the National Assembly have been debating today. And right now, the respective leadership in the House is whipping members to come into the chambers to allow the division to proceed. Remember that this requires more than 200 or at least 233 members of the National Assembly voting in affirmative, and they will be doing so through a roll call. Standing Order 65 Standing Order 65
Honorable members, take your seats. Whips, you are satisfied your members are all in the House? Take your seats. Okay. You have 2 minutes. Members who are on their feet, take your seats. Thank you.
Standing Order 65 of the National Assembly provides for the procedure for removal of the Deputy President. And it says that where a member proposes the removal of the Deputy President on the grounds of physical or mental incapacity in terms of Article 150, Sub-Article 1A of the Constitution, Standing Order 63, which talks about procedure for removal of President on grounds of incapacity, shall, with necessary modifications, apply.
You'll have to do something about this mic. Take your seats, honorable members. Osoro and Millie are all your troops in the House. I want to close. Draw the bar. Draw the bar. Take your seats. Honorable members, you may take your seats now. Honorable Dani Wanyama, take your seat. Honorable Minority Whip, take your seat. Honorable members, I have been given the following as whips, as tellers. For the ayes, the Honorable Zaire Janda MP and the Honorable Jared Okello MP. For the nays, the Honorable Onesmus Ngogoyo and Honorable Jane Njeri. You may come forward and join the clerks at the table. Now the voting order, the voting will be as follows. Order. We will start by calling out the Honorable Sama, member for Isiolo. Is it West? Isiolo North. You all know Honorable Samal as a condition and in his to be assisted. So the clerk and the tellers will go to where he is. The clerk and one on either side. Go and take Honorable Samal's vote. Once you are done, the constituencies are numbered alphabetically from A to Z. So we'll start with the Ainamoi is normally the first, and we'll end up with the last. Pardon? Yes. Okay, Njoroge, take the vote of Honorable Samal, Honorable Kosge and Honorable Wanyonyi. Then go alphabetically for everybody else. And when voting is going on, members, you must remain in your seats. You must remain silent and let the process go on. Uninterrupted, the same way you have been orderly the whole day. Of course, I put the question, pardon? Yes? Toto has already indicated to the clerks that she'll wait and vote like everybody else. So she's not in a special case. Is Mother Wangari also lactating? I didn't know that. Now, clerk, those who are supporting the motion are voting yes. Those who are not are voting No. The tellers are, as I've told you, for yes, Janda and Okello, for no's, Kasheri and Gogoyo. Clerk, over to you.
Voting starts now. Isiolo North, Lomwa Joseph Samal. Westlands, Wetangula Timothy Wanyonyi. Nominated member, Jackson Kosgei Kipkemoi. Who will go there? Go.
I, Tim Wanyonyi, Member of Parliament for Westlands, I vote no. I vote yes. I vote yes.